Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to the TTV News with some last events in our province, and now we come into details. The Cao Đài religion has held a grand ritual on February 8th dedicated to its Duc Chi Ton Supreme Being in Hoa Thanh district of Tay Ninh Province. The event was congratulated by the delegation of Tay Ninh Province led by Mr. Phạm Hùng Thái, Standing Deputy Secretary of the Provincial Party Committee, head of the delegation of Tay Ninh Province National Assembly deputies. The service were also attended by tens of thousands of Cao Đài dignitaries and followers, as well as representatives from the government's Committee for Religious Affairs and local leaders. The ritual, held annually on the 8th day of the first lunar month, is one of the two biggest religious services of the year for the followers of Cao Đài Holy See. Devotees worship heaven and earth and pray for good weather and pumped crops for the religious community. And this year, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the Holy See held a great mass on a limited scale in the context of the new normal. The Standing Deputy Secretary, Provincial Party Committee Phạm Hùng Thái, and members of the delegation gave many follower baskets and gifts, congratulated the Cao Đài religions for the Duc Chi Ton ritual in the Year of the Tiger 2022, and enjoyed the Four Spirits Dance performance, a unique performance art of Cao Đài religion. The Ministry of Finance has just issued official response to send to ministry branches, people committee of provinces and cities nationwide, the Consumer Protection Association, Industry Association, concerned enterprises about the continuing to pay attention to and promote the implementation of price management and administration after the Lunar New Year of 2022. Accordingly, the Ministry of Finance asked units to actively monitor supply and demand market prices of important and essential commodities in the time after that holiday, especially for items with high demand, such as transportation services, tourism, entertainment, sightseeing, festivals, and commodities that are currently tending to increase in the prices, such as gasoline, construction materials for key projects. On that basis, proactively strengthen coordination in implementing the price management and control solution from the beginning of the year to contribute to stabilizing the market prices, aiming to control the inflation in the first quarter and the whole year of 2022.
In the last term, Red Cross at all levels in Hoa Thanh South have united and determined to carry out the association's work and the Red Cross movement, reach charity activities, and promote the pivotal roles of Red Cross associations in humanitarian work. Over the past 5 years, hundreds of thousands of people have benefited from the association's programs, such as healthcare, free medical examination and treatment, given gifts to the poor, with a total amount of nearly 14.3 billion Vietnam dong. Humanitarian social work and the test for the poor and Asian Organ Wisdom movement are well done. The associations in town and Red Cross Association have mobilized donors, agencies, units, and schools, supported care for nearly 44,600 people, with an amount more than 16 billion Vietnam dong. In Thanh, there was a charitable house which was built by mobilizing, take care of more than 92,000 cases of members, team members, students with difficult circumstances, which worth more than 4.2 billion Vietnam dong. Mobilize thousands of volunteers to register to donate blood. It had more than 9,700 blood units were received.
And ladies and gentlemen, according to the Vietnam Fruit and Vegetable Association, fruit and vegetable export achieved a high growth in the first month of 2022. The fruit and vegetable export turnover in January reached about $300 million, up to 0.3% compared to December of 2021, and increased sharply compared to $260 million in the same period last year. According to the report, export activities were maintained by the enterprises throughout the Lunar New Year, and shipments of goods sold to all markets in the US, the EU, Australia, etc. were maintained, contributing to the export revenue. Vietnam is trying to diversify export markets for fruits and vegetables. The structures and variety of vegetables and fruits exported to continents in 2021 shows a clear shift. While the share of fruit and vegetable export to Europe and America increased, the share of export to Asia decreased. In 2021, the export value of vegetables and fruits to European and American markets had a high growth rate, of which the export to Europe reached about $300 million, up to 7.4% compared to 2020, and to Americas reached about $271 million, up to 29.1% compared to 2020. The jungle frame tree is a woody plant. Flowers grow in large clusters, flowers all year round, and is currently of high value in the ornamental flower. In 2019, Mr. Nguyễn Bình Thái, living in Mỏ Còng Commune, Tân Bình District, went to the southwestern provinces to bring jungle flame cross varieties of plant. Up to now, Mr. Thái has expanded 1 hectare of land into a jungle flame garden with about 70 different varieties, including precious and high-value varieties. Flowers were propagated by cutting, branching, and Mr. Thái garden has nearly 13,000 jungle flame origin with many varieties. However, bringing products to the West for consumption, there are also traders who come to buy the seeds from the garden, and he has sown several hundreds of originals in the past year. Mr. Nguyễn Văn Giao, Vice Chairman of Tân Bình District Farmer Association, said that developing the model of growing jungle flame no need a large area of land and easy to propagate by cutting and branching. At the same time, he appreciated Mr. Thái models of jungle flame planting. In the next time, the Tân Bình District Farmer Association will expand the model of jungle flame growing in the area. The Farmer Association also cooperated with the Center for Agricultural Extension to open a technical training course for planting jungle flame for those need to participate, coordinate with the credit institutions to create opportunity for those who need loans to develop jungle flame farming. And ladies and gentlemen, over the years, promoting its potential, strength, and specificities along with the cooperation and companionship of the business community, Tay Ninh has made impressive progress in socio-economic aspects. The effort to improve the investment environment of Tay Ninh Province have brought many prosperity, creating new impetus for economic growth. Located in the southern key economic region and on the gateway connecting the southeast with Ho Chi Minh City, Tay Ninh Province possesses a series of competitive advantages, especially regional linkages. On the basis of the potentials, the province has implemented many priority policies calling for investment, focusing on improving the investment environment, enhancing provincial competitiveness, and promoting administrative reform. The fourth wave of COVID-19 pandemic in 2021 has made the socio-economic situation of the whole country in general, and Tay Ninh Province in particular, severely affected when many provinces and cities nationwide have to implement prolonged social distancing widespread. Many businesses face difficulties and bankruptcy when the global supply chain is broken. In that context, with the great efforts and determination of the whole political system, togetherness to overcome difficulties of all economic sectors and all classes of people, Tay Ninh basically control the pandemic disease and effectively implement the dual goal for disease prevention and control as well as economic recovery and development. According to Tay Ninh Statistics Office, in 2021, the province's gross product will increase by 0.21% compared to 2020. With the growth rate of GDP in 2021, Tay Ninh ranks about 53 out of 63 provinces and cities. The total state budget revenue is estimated at about over 10,000 billion Vietnam dong, reaching for 95% over the year estimate, in which domestic revenue is more than 8,700 billion Vietnam dong, reaching 91.7%. The import-export revenue is estimated at about 1,300 billion Vietnam dong, increased to 30% higher than the estimate and up to 18%. The total budget expenditure is estimated at 12,200 billion Vietnam dong, equaling to about 105% of the estimate. And in 2021, the province will have about 640 newly established enterprises with a registered capital of 8.14 trillion Vietnam dong, establishing for 21 new cooperatives, and up to now, the province has about 160 cooperatives.
Chúng ta thấy rằng trong cái điều kiện
In difficult conditions, almost broken production chains due to the application of social distancing, but maintaining positive economic growth is a great effort of Tay Ninh Province. Although purchase revenue is still difficult, it has also reached about 113% of the government estimate and reached the target set by the Provincial People's Council. The province still maintains and promotes export conditions, especially the enterprises in investment capital for investment. The province has paid attention to direct and focusing on removing difficulties and clearing bottlenecks in the fields of land investment, planning, creating conditions to attract resources, focusing on attracting public investments, especially implementing the key projects leading to socio-economic attraction, focusing on supporting investors to implement the projects. And it is forecast that in 2022, the foreign direct investment FDI inflows into Vietnam will prosper again thanks to the attractive investment attraction policies and the policies of reopening the economy after 2 years of closure due to the COVID-19 pandemic. In Tay Ninh Province, Tay Ninh ranked about 12 out of 63 provinces in the country in terms of attracting foreign investment, and foreign investment attraction reached about 649 million $, up to 4.7% over the same period. Although there are many opportunities for FDI inflows to flourish in 2022, in the context of limited supply and the heavy impact of the COVID-19 pandemic, countries are taking advantage of external resources to maintain and recover from the pandemic and economic recovery. Accordingly, competition in attracting FDI among developing countries with similarities in the market development level, technology, and labor is increasingly fierce. And therefore, in order to continue to be attractive in attracting FDI in the coming time, Vietnam in general and Tay Ninh Province in particular need to focus on some specific solutions such as continue to review and timely adjust revenue policies to attract FDI in accordance with and keep up with the fluctuation of the global economy and changes in FDI attraction strategy of the countries around the world. And at the same time, create a competitive and open investment and business environment, remove difficulties and obstacles on policies to create favorable conditions for the operation of enterprises and investors. And that's all for the TTV News today. Thank you for joining us and see you more next time.